Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us for another of the ISH podcast series where we showcase the exceptional capability that we have in Cumbria. And today we have Trudy Harrison, who is Head of Business Development at Shepley Group, and Callum Woodend, who is a Managing Director and also a board member of Shepley Group, but Managing Director for West Cumbrian Engineering. So welcome. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you like to tell us a little bit about Shepley Group to start with, Trudy?
Absolutely. I think Callum's probably the best one to start.
Yeah, no
on
problem.
this.
Yeah. So Shepley Group is made up of Shepley Engineers, West Cumbrian Engineering and PPS Electrical. So we have the mechanical, electrical, instrumentation, installation, manufacturing, fabrication, machining. We have a commissioning department. We also have decommissioning, decontamination and also a restoration arm to the business.
Excellent.
Commonly called, new term for me, MICA. Mechanical, electrical, instrumentation, commissioning and automation. And we do all of that and some,
Yep,
I would argue.
absolutely.
So how do the three parts of the Shepley Group, so we've got Shepley Engineers Limited, we've got West Cumbrian Engineering and PPS Electrical as the third element of the group. How do those interrelate, or how are they different?
So the three companies, they interrelate because we all have the same culture, we have all the same values, we work under the same quality management systems, we have all the same health and safety policies and procedures. So they're all the things that it's inbred within us, and we have the differences of that full turnkey solution in terms of mechanical, electrical and instrumentation.
Yeah.
Amazing.
It works well. I head up the business development across the entire group. But for me, it makes so much sense because the sweet spot for us is when you've got the manufacturing, the electrical and instrumentation, you've got the mechanical installation, and then you've got the commissioning as well. It really makes sense. And those are the projects we like best.
Yeah, absolutely.
To be able to undertake all of those. The only thing we don't do really is civils.
Okay. And I understand that Shepley Group have been working at Sellafield and in the nuclear industry for 78 years. This is amazing. Since 1948.
The 8th of January, 1948, Frank Shepley established Shepley Engineers to support the HVAC operation on the Windscale pile chimney. So, Windscale pile reactor as it was then.
As it was, yeah.
And we have been there ever since, the longest standing continuous contractor at the Sellafield site. And I think Frank will be pretty proud of what's been achieved.
That is an amazing history.
Isn't it?
Yeah, fantastic.
I get goosebumps every time I talk about it.
And can you tell us a little bit about your most recent projects? What are you most proud of recently?
So one of our recent projects we delivered as Shepley Engineers and West Cumbrian Engineering was the F19 pipe bridge project for 6-step contingency plant on Sellafield. West Cumbrian manufactured and fabricated the high integrity coax pipework. Shepley manufactured the steelwork and done the pipework installation. So that was one of the recent fabrication projects that we have done. We have been working in a building called B38 MSSS for a number of years now. Shepley Engineers are part of a joint venture called NDS, which its partners are Altrad and Cavendish. So on that particular building, there's a mission critical project called the silo emptying plant machines, known as the set machines. And within there, Shepley do mechanical installation, PPS are doing the electrical work, and West Cumbrian Engineering have done a variety of manufacturing projects. A more recent project for West Cumbrian Engineering was last year we successfully delivered the 14 off pump and valve modules again for 6-step contingency plant. It was a key project. We had to overcome a lot of global economic and engineering problems to deliver that project, which we successfully did. It was we had over 2,000 build one, which is 100% radiographed and inspected butt welds, which we had a 96% right first time pass rate. The project was of 80,000 working hours. We had 8 apprentices who were directly involved in that project, and we successfully delivered that last May. So yeah, it was a great project for us.
And
So
the final module will be delivered to Sellafield site this Thursday and be lifted and put into position.
Oh, wow.
These are the kidneys of Sellafield. So say Sellafield themselves. Really, really important project.
Why are they the kidneys of Sellafield?
Because it's all about the filtration from SIXEP. It's
I
a
see.
continuity
Okay.
project
I see.
that will follow on from SIXEP.
And why did you say that you had global challenges? What were the challenges that you faced during the project?
So at the start of the project, there was global conflicts going on, which resulted in shortages of materials. So that gave us a challenge from the very start of the project. However, we worked tirelessly to overcome that, and we worked with the client to ensure that it was successfully delivered.
And it's great to hear that you're so supportive of collaboration. And I understand that you yourselves, West Cumbrian Engineering, I think Shepley's generally part of the group of CMA, the Cumbria Manufacturing Alliance. Is that right?
Yeah, so CMA, Cumbria Manufacturing Alliance, is headed up by West Cumbrian Engineering and Bendels Engineering. It was a joint venture that was created back in 2020. That was to take on the 63 can fuel project, which was in thought for the spent AGR fuel. So we made the joint venture back then. In 2021, September 2021, we were successfully winning that project, delivering 80 racks. And from there, we've realised that we are much stronger together, and we have now got 26 nuclear strategic partners, which are all Cumbrian based.
I think if I can just interject there, because I think it's even more important than that formal partnership. We are 97% local. 97%, I think it's 97.6 actually,
Within Shepley Group, yeah.
of our workforce
Of the employees, okay, yes.
live locally in West Cumbria. So we're bringing up our children here. We're choosing to live here. We're choosing to thrive here. We have a vested interest in ensuring that the ecosystem around West Cumbria is thriving. So of course we'll support the SMEs.
Absolutely.
It's what we live and breathe.
Sure. That's such a great story, and it's absolutely what we want to see more of. We've, as Ish, set up the manufacturing cluster to encourage that collaboration between manufacturers and other companies that do other things in this region, to encourage them to bid together for more work, to win work that they wouldn't typically have perhaps won, or they wouldn't have bid for even on their own. So it's great to see consortia like that come together of their own volition as well, and say, let's do this together. Let's think about the whole is more than the sum of the parts and all of that sort of thing. And it's just really positive.
Absolutely.
And as an ecosystem, nothing can beat West Cumbria where nuclear is concerned.
Yeah.
I think about 27,000 people work in the nuclear industry. We did it first. We were the first to transmit electricity onto the grid at Calder Hall. We've got 7 reactors at Sellafield in various stages of decommissioning. But we've also got all of the processes that are responsible for that decommissioning, whether it's compaction, encapsulation, vitrification, separation. There probably isn't, big statement, there probably isn't a building that Shepley haven't been in. We have been involved with every reactor and every stage of the Sellafield process, along with our supply chain. And, if you need a really difficult job done in a nuclear environment, or actually in any hazardous environment, who are you going to call? You're going to call on West Cumbrians.
You're starting to sound a bit Ghostbustery there.
Well,
Trudy.
who are you going to call?
So, and in terms of Shepley Group, Shepley Engineers Limited, do you want to talk about one of your more recent projects that you've been working on?
I don't have projects as such. My role is to go out there and find out who needs the very best welders, the very best electricians, the very best quality and safety assurance, because it matters. So whether you're restoring the roof on the Houses of Parliament, or restoring the clock hands on Big Ben, or restoring the Edinburgh Glass House, or the triplets, which is the affectionate name for the gas holders as you come out of St Pancras on your way to Paris. Shepley's did that.
So I was actually in London very recently, the weekend of the marathon a couple of weeks ago, with a friend of mine from West Cumbria, and I was telling him that Shepley Group fixed the clock hands on Big Ben.
Did you only just point that bit out? Because we've done so much more.
Stayed with me though when you told me that.
I think it's so impressive. We don't shout quite loudly enough, I think, in West Cumbria. It's a common challenge, but when you're the longest standing continuous contractor at Sellafield and you were trusted to fix the roof on the Houses of Parliament, whilst the politicians, me included, were working away in there, that is pretty special.
That is some amazing stuff that you've done there that like is totally the region's best kept secret. And I don't think anyone knows that stuff. It's really
That's why we're here, Miranda.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So from 1948, at that very special start, how has the company come together and grown into this group of companies and what it's achieved to date?
So probably a bit of a journey for the Shepley Group is Shepley Engineers acquired West Cumbrian Engineering in 2002. That then gave the manufacturing capability. Then in 2006, they acquired PPS Electrical to give the electrical arm to the group. We then acquired Mothersill Engineering in 2012. We acquired nuclear decontamination services in 2016. And then more recently, West Cumbrian Engineering acquired TIS in 2023. So that's a little bit of a journey on the history of how the businesses grew and made sure we got further capability.
That's really interesting. So there's a lot of acquisition there and there's a lot of different smaller companies that have come together. So how do you instill that sort of same Shepley Group culture across the different businesses, or do they retain their own sort of individual independent personalities?
No, we do work on getting the culture and getting all the quality management systems and that embedded in the businesses over the years. That means we're all working as one, even though we're individual businesses, the three that we talk about now. We still embed that culture and then processes, procedures, policies, because it's very important to have that right through.
And headed up by one ultimate managing director, which is Gavin Jakubowski. I think some of the specialisms around decontamination are absolutely mind-blowing. Speaking with the guys just this week on how we deal with the likes of hydrogen venting or some of the work that they've undertaken in C5 conditions at Sellafield, wearing an air-fed respirator in a PVC suit. It is quite incredible, some of the challenges that they will overcome, because I think the thing that is overriding across the entire group is the problem solving, engineering, smart machine thinking.
Yeah. They ultimately get the problem from Sellafield and they're going and decontaminate cells and get it to manning levels, really. So, they are real good thinking engineers, problem solvers. So they are key to the group and to Sellafield.
And then we'll manufacture, and then we've got mechanical installation. You've got the containment and brackets that would be installed by PPS Electrical, the instrumentation, and then finally the commissioning, which is again another real specialist skill, would be done by PPS Electrical as well. So it's a full turnkey, multidisciplined MIAICA offering.
Amazing. And with the multiple acquisitions, have you therefore got multiple sites as well?
Yeah, we've got a few facilities. We've got 2 up at Lily Hall, 1 in Workington. We've got facilities in Barrow. We have workshops in Sheffield. We're in Springfield. On AWE, House of Parliament in London, and to Dounreay at the top of Scotland. We've been previously, so we are nationwide spread.
We had all of the roof of the House of Commons, but more interestingly, we had the clock hands from Big Ben in our factory at Sheffield.
Oh, wow.
I think that's quite special.
Something to be very proud of.
And restored them back to the former glory before they were put back where they belong.
Fantastic. Yeah, that is something to be proud of.
Yeah, we're very proud, aren't we, Callum?
Absolutely.
So any other projects outside of nuclear that you want to talk about? I mean, those are some really great case studies, but what else do you do outside of nuclear?
Yeah, so one recent one, would you call it pharmaceuticals? Essentially, it's a bovine methane reduction programme, and it's in Scotland. Paul McBain often corrects me when I try to pronounce this. I think it's Dallery. But that is essentially where process pipe work is required, and that's what Shepley's have been doing. We are excited about nuclear new build, very much so. I was responsible for the transport decarbonisation plan, and I know that only 18% of the energy we use in this country is electric. The remaining 82% is transport and process. So if we're going to decarbonise, we need incredible pipe work to carry that hydrogen, to carry that sustainable aviation fuel. Who are you going to call?
So the reason I said that we had a bit of a celebrity with us is because Trudy Harrison is the former MP for Copeland and a Minister for Transport and for the Environment in the last Conservative government. So Trudy, how does one go from politics to being in an engineering company? What made you decide to ditch the politics?
Well, engineering definitely came first. My dad was a brilliant engineer. He served his time at Marchon. He then went out to the North Sea to work on the oil rigs, then came back to work at Sellafield. And engineering for me is about risk taking, it's about problem solving, it's about smart machine making. That's what we do so well in West Cumbria. He could fix anything. The only thing he couldn't fix was his motor neuron disease. But he definitely instilled in me that nuclear is a fantastic way to generate electricity. And if you want, the most effective land use, we want more land for nature, or I certainly do. So we want the least land take, most energy efficient way of generating electricity. If you want jobs outside of London in the southeast, nuclear does that. If you need to, power electrolyzers to produce hydrogen to decarbonise transport, nuclear does that. If you want to create fantastic apprenticeships, of which Shepley's has some great examples, and provide really good jobs, we have the third highest disposable income in the country in West Cumbria, and that's thanks to the nuclear industry. So I knew from both my dad, who was working at Sellafield, and from my family and friends living in this area that nuclear energy is a brilliant thing. But we didn't have a policy for nuclear energy back in 2016. An opportunity arose for somebody to become the MP. So I put my name forward and got the job. But I went in there primarily to champion the nuclear industry because I know of the engineering capability we have in West Cumbria, and I really think we should have new nuclear here in West Cumbria. And it was really, you mentioned a couple of roles, Transport Minister and also Environment Minister, but it was really being Boris Johnson's PPS, his Private Parliamentary Secretary, which was the game changer for influencing policy. I don't think there was a day went by in number 10 when I wasn't saying nuclear does that, energy security, nuclear does that, sovereignty, nuclear does that. But it became so popular that all my colleagues were wanting a Rolls-Royce SMR. Who wouldn't? And I was quite concerned that I wanted to get back to West Cumbria, work for a company who was absolutely embedded in nuclear energy, but also in our local community. And it was just a no-brainer.
Fantastic.
To come here, to come and work for Shepley Group.
I didn't know that, actually. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting journey.
It's been on the cards probably since I was an early teenager when my dad took me in. I think it would have been EP2. And I was just amazed at the stainless steel in there. And then, the rest is history.
Wow, fantastic. And you mentioned their apprenticeships.
Yeah.
So I know the Shepley Group have a fantastic story to tell on apprenticeships. And what is the Platinum Club?
Callum is definitely the best one. Not just apprenticeships, also trainees.
Yeah, so we recently received a Platinum Award in the 5% Club. having at least 5% of our employees in earn and learn positions. So we have 128 people currently in earn and learn positions, which makes up to around about just under 18%. So almost 100 of them, 128 are apprentices as well. So, it's something that, we're very proud of. It's something that we work on. It's very cliche, but people really are our biggest asset. So we do put a lot of time and effort into growing our resource, developing people.
How do you think that you manage that, in the sense of, is it that you've got a lot of vacancies all the time, that you have the ability to take on that many apprentices and can give them that training, or do you have an apprenticeship college or academy or something that kind of enables that to happen while you're also working? Like, how does that work in practice?
I think it's from probably realising the skilled resource shortage across the country,
Right.
And everybody's pulling on the same resource. When you have a lot of larger tier ones, tier twos in the area, it's hard to always compete. So, for a lot of years, we've grew our own resource, and whether that's young age or even people later on in their careers, we're always keen to develop them into whatever they want to do, whether that's degree apprenticeships or improverships. But yeah, that's the reason behind it, is to keep feeding the machine. You will have some attrition, but ours is very low as a group. Our attrition rate's under 5%, and I think that's mainly due to that focus on continuing with apprenticeships.
And you quite a lot of the apprentices are craft apprenticeships as well, aren't they?
Mainly on the craft side, welding, plating, machining, electricians. So we do focus on that. But there's a great success story in the scheme. We have 5 of the directors have come from either apprenticeships or undergraduates. So we had 4 of our directors started off as apprentices and are now directors, including our group MD, Gavin Jakubowski, and I was an undergraduate and working my way through into the position.
Okay, so I was going to ask you what was your journey and how did you end up in the position you're in? Because you're quite a young managing director, aren't you?
So my journey...
For the nuclear industry in particular, I think.
It's engineering, problem solving. Has always been a passion of mine. Probably started off back in year 9. I was part of the first pilot scheme to do the young apprenticeship programme with Gen 2. So that was in year 10 and 11, where we went to B111 in half term to do the practical aspect of the MVQ level 2. And we used to go to college every Monday night to do the theory. So I got a level 2 in performing engineering operations via that scheme. And, that then kind of solidified that I did want to do engineering. More specifically, it was mechanical engineering. I then decided I wanted to go to university. So I went to sixth form. I went to St. Benedict's School, where I was fortunate they had an engineering subject in there. I done that through there. I was fortunate that the project in which I was working on, I won an award for Young Engineer of Britain.
Wow.
So engineering has been through me for quite a lot of years, and then I was supported even in my degree. I'd done a year in placement. I went to Shepley Engineers, and I was asked to stay on. And then from there, I was supported on finishing my degree on dairy lease, getting financial support, experience, and then, like I say, I've continued with the journey through my career.
I can see why, with all of that support and all of that encouragement in training and skills development, that you've then kind of wanted to continue that theme and share that out, almost pay it forward yourself in that sense. So is that what drives you as a person, in terms of particularly like in the sense of trying to make West Cumbria a better place kind of thing?
Absolutely. Like I say, engineering is something I'm passionate about, problem solving. There's always a solution. Born and bred in Cumbria, we have the nuclear site on our doorstep, but I'm massive on never stop learning, self-reflection, becoming a better version of yourself, all that sort of stuff. There shouldn't be any reason why we can't continue to develop ourselves and others as we work through our careers. So putting a focus on the local community and trying to upskill and develop people is something that I'm really passionate about.
Amazing. It's great to hear that. And I have to say, I've heard that so much with a lot of our businesses in West Cumbria. There's so much passion in the leadership for the region, and to see the region becoming more prosperous and successful, and trying to develop those skills and future-proof the region. I really see that throughout so many companies here.
Partnership with further education in particular, and the universities. We've got degree apprenticeships, but I would say the work we do with Lakes College and UTC in particular. We've also got dedicated people in the group whose job it is to ensure our apprentices thrive. So Ryan Christie or Dave Norman, it is their job to work with our apprentices and really nurture them. But I think the most powerful thing is, look at our board of directors. Most are time-served apprentices or trainees. It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's a great story. So, Trudy, what about you? Are we going to have Trudy for mayor next?
Absolutely not. I have found my forever home.
No, you're not going back to politics.
No. I mean, never say never.
Never say never.
I absolutely love the job I've got. It's, politics is about theory and engineering is about doing. And I am much more of a doer. I am constantly in awe of the way in which your execution class 4 welding is, what we're really proud of in Shepley Engineers, or the control panel manufacturing that happens on Duke Street at Barrow. This is world class, and continuing the legacy of world class skills is absolutely brilliant. The fact that we're doing it through apprenticeships, because you can earn whilst you learn, you can get a degree without the debt, but most importantly, you're forming those relationships with colleagues and contacts. It's just absolutely fundamental, I think, to our area and our ecosystem that we invest in the future. It's obvious, isn't it?
Absolutely. And what about Trudy behind the scenes? What are your interests and hobbies, passions, family? What do you spend your time on outside of work?
I do absolutely love my work, but if you tear me away from the nuclear industry in Shepley Group, you probably find me either crawling on my hands and knees in the playroom with little Reggie, my grandson, or in the garden tending to my dahlia tubers. It's dahlia tuber season. If you're into your gardening, it's a little bit like having children actually gardening. Had 4 children very quickly, 4 children in 5 years. They're all now in their 20s. Our youngest daughter works for Shepley. And actually, my husband also works for Shepley. And I think that's testament as well. We do have quite a lot of family members.
You do, yeah.
And if you're happy that your daughter or your son or your wife or your husband work for the company, that is testament to a great company, isn't it? I think that's really lovely. But yeah, gardening, flower arranging, spending time with family, making every day a holiday in the back garden, in the food that we eat. I love to cycle and walk and enjoy the fantastic landscape we have. And there's nowhere else I'd like to live. I am blessed because I've been able to travel the world in various jobs. There is nowhere else I would rather be than West Cumbria.
You are really the region's best advocate, aren't you?
I just think the coast and the fells, it's the best place to be. And 10 minutes, from any of our communities, you can be enjoying that landscape.
Great. And what about you, Callum? What do you do outside of work? Do you have any time outside of work?
I've got 2 small children and my partner and stuff, so a lot of my time spent with them. As well as my passion for engineering, I've got a passion for property development for my sins, which takes up a bit of time. So,
do you do it yourself, the development?
I have done in the past, but no, as times went on, I've come away from that side of it. But yeah, it's a passion I have as well as engineering, and I think that's that seeing the end goal, renovating a project and stuff like that. So,
yeah,
brilliant, lovely. What's next for Shepley Group?
Oh, the most important question, Miranda. As I alluded to earlier, I think there's a huge opportunity in clean energy, whether that's hydrogen or sustainable aviation fuel or other synthetic fuels. And that requires particularly high precision manufacturing and pipe work. So that's a great opportunity for us. The grid is being upgraded, so lots of opportunities for PPS electrical in particular, those control systems. That's something that we're working on the rail network. And I would say when you need to be operating, wearing a PVC suit, breathing through an air-fed respirator, welding in a difficult position, using a mirror in one of the hazardous environments, arguably in the world, what can't you do? I think for us, it's about advertising those transferable skills. If you can work in such a hazardous environment safely, we've just had our ROSPA celebration, haven't we, across the 3 companies. Was it 70?
69 continuous gold ROSPAs for the group.
Wow, amazing.
Yes, so
Congratulations.
30 for Shepley Engineers, 25 for PPS and 14 for West Cumbrian Engineering, with Shepley winning an Engineer Sector Award as well. So yeah, again, something that's extremely proud of.
Yeah, and when you're operating at that level, to the kind of safety standards and quality standards that the nuclear industry demands, that clean energy sector is really where we want to be getting into as well. And defence, half of our workforce are either SC cleared or DV cleared, which means we can work across the defence ecosystem as well, and that's something we're pursuing. We'll always be in West Cumbria. I hope we're always at Sellafield. It's where we began. I think we owe it to Frank to continue to portray those world-class skills, but we're also optimistic about the future and recognising that the world is changing. We've got to pivot, we've got to move with that change.
And what do you think is next for West Cumbria? Why is it an exciting time for West Cumbria right now?
I would say there's a lot of great frameworks going on Sellafield at the minute, some long 15, 18 years frameworks. We have the DNWP, IDP, PACE, all them sort of, apologies for all the abbreviations, but there's all them frameworks starting up. There's the new nuclear potential, Pioneer Park. There's the development of Workington Port, so there's all them things going on in Cumbria, which, I think is quite an exciting time, and hopefully they can come off, a lot of them, and give the opportunity for, our brilliant workforces and skills across the county.
We will continue to be an innovation nation, and I think here we'll be pioneering, and we'll be there to support that journey.
I'm sure you will. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you being part of our Ish podcast series, and I look forward to watching where you go next.
Thank you very much.